Right, I'm going to show you how to take the breasts off a chicken, okay? Using a Type 301 designed by Porsche, that's what it is. So what we do is just take off the chicken breasts. You go to the supermarket nowadays, you'll pay what, 2, 3, if it's an organic free range, corn fed, hen pecking chicken, you could pay like 3 or 4 quid for a chicken breast. You can go to the supermarket, buy a whole chicken for probably about what, 8 quid for a free range, something like that. Take 2 breasts off it, a couple of legs, some wings as well, so it's a bit of a Sunday lunch, and then also you can use a breast for maybe like a Saturday night meal if you're trying to impress your wife or something. Okay, so what I'm going to do first of all is just remove the legs. So just a couple of incisions either side of the thigh, and then just pull upwards just to release the bone. And then we just cut as close to the carcass as possible, letting the knife do the work, like so. And that gives us a nice chicken leg, okay? And then same on the other side. Now we're going to remove the breast, okay? So what we do this time, we cut through here, like that, okay? And then on the chicken here, there is a bone that runs all the way through there, okay? Like a little breastbone. And then you've got the wishbones here, which you try and leave whole because it's always nice to, pull them with your finger and maybe your wishes come true, who knows, okay? So what we do is just carefully run the knife down the breastbone like that, keeping it as close to the breastbone as possible, okay? Now, with the tip of the knife, okay, and always with the knife, work away from you, never cut towards you, okay? So, now we've cut through there, what we do is we just start at this area here, and we just draw the knife against the carcass, against the bone, keeping it against the bone, and just letting the knife do the work. You can see, I'm barely holding the knife, and it's just cutting through, and we're staying on the bone here, okay? So just keep cutting through, keeping on your bone. You paid for this meat, you want to eat it. You don't want to leave it on the carcass, which is going to go in your stock, okay? So cut all the way through, like so. Keep cutting down. There's our little wishbone, so we're cutting it to the side of the wishbone. Taking the wing with it, through the wing bone, okay? Remove a little bit of that excess skin. Okay, I'll just push that one to the side. So there we have a chicken breast. That is quite a nice, sturdy piece of meat, okay? Now, you could roast that if you wanted whole, like that. You could put a couple of slashes. What I'm gonna do is trim it up a little bit. In France, what they would do is they would cut this bone here off, so left with that little bone, and then they will clean that, okay, which is French trim chicken. But we're not going to do that today, okay? That's probably a little bit too poncy. So what we're going to do is just take off that little wing again, okay? Chicken wings are fantastic, particularly at summer, Put like a little sticky glaze, honey, mustard, maybe a bit of fresh thyme, roast them in the oven, 20 minutes, you've got nice sticky chicken wings, okay? So there's our nice chicken breast there. Fillet still attached. Supermarkets nowadays, you never get that fillet. They sell you that in another packet separate. So you're paying twice for it. What's the point in that, hey? Who knows? To remove the skin, just pull with your finger. Just pull all the way up, like so. And then that little bit there, just trim off with your knife. That can go inside the carcass there because we're going to make chicken stock with that. We're not going to throw it away. Every bit gets used. And there you have it. You've got a beautiful, plump chicken breast ready to cook on a Saturday night, Simply just pan fry it, salt and pepper, finish it off in the oven. What you could do is stuff it, you open it out like so. With your knife, just using the tip of the knife, you just want to score. Not all the way through, just a little score like so. So I've not gone all the way through. What we're doing is making a little pocket, okay? And then push the knife through like so. Then what you can do is put a filling in there, You know, say you wanted some lemon thyme and mozzarella cheese, okay? That goes inside there. That then closes back up. The fillet goes over. And then that's stuffed. So that's got a really nice filling. You know, if it had mozzarella cheese in there, or some brie, or some blush tomatoes, roasted peppers, you know, when you slice into it and eat it, you've got all those wonderful flavours going on inside as well. Okay? So for the second bit of chicken, it's the same principle, okay? You've got that bone here, just cut down the side of the bone. Let the knife do the work, okay? Keep your hands out of the way. And again, I'm a little bit I'm left-handed, you see, you know, so I'm doing things slightly cock-handedly here. Just keeping with the bone, using the tip of the knife, that's all you're doing, just using the tip, just drawing it through, like so, until it comes off. That there is your carcass for soup, okay? Probably half an onion, a bay leaf, a couple of peppercorns. Top it with water so it goes sort of like 5 centimetres over. Cook it for about 40 minutes and then just strain through a sieve and you've got some fantastic chicken stock. You could freeze it, you could use it then if you wanted to make a sauce or a soup, you know. And again on this one, well, what I'm going to do now is actually show you how to do the French trim, okay? So what I'm going to do is just cut that. You can still use that bit of wing. That bit of wing's tasty, fantastic, okay? But what we do now is we just make a little score around the bone. And then, he says, hopefully, that should just pull up like so. Now again, that could go in the stock or you could just roast that and eat that little bit. And then what you would do is you would just sort of clean up your bone a bit. Just using the knife. It won't blunt the knife, you know, but you just rub against the bone there, just cleaning it up. And then peel off the skin, like so. Neaten it off with the knife, just trimming off the edges, you know. How things look is very, very important. You can clean off this little bit here, you know, but you won't see that, you know, as it cooks, that will all sort of cook. And then that is ready for cooking. And in France, what they do is they put those silly little chef hats on top as well, you know, but it's all about presentation, you know. If that's cooked up and you've got this wonderful bone, and then as it cooks, obviously you wouldn't serve it whole like that, you'd slice it up once it's cooked. That's a beautiful piece of chicken. But if you were to buy that in the supermarket, it probably cost you, I don't know, probably £4 or £5, you know. Like I say, you can buy a whole chicken, do it yourself, but if you've got a good knife, the job's so much easier.